Season 67, War number 5, so we've matched up against Yelena M, and the bands are Kushala, Sinister, Nico, Scorpion, and Absorbing Man. And my team today is going to be Vox, Wave, and Mr. Knight. And we have 8 fights this war, 5 with Vox actually, 2 of them with Wave, and 1 with Mr. Knight. Starting today on Path 8 in Section 1, and we're just going to go ahead and take this Peni Parker. And I just went ahead and used a medium health boost for this fight because against Node 8 you really just don't attack boosts because you don't want to take that extra risk of getting to trigger the rage cap. So against Peni here, sometimes if your mediums crit you are going to trigger the damage cap. So what we're going to do is almost exclusively light attacks. I do start to use some mediums later on, as you can see there, but if my medium crits there's a very high chance that it is going to hit the damage cap, especially once I get the cruelties up with the light attacks, which I want to do anyway because that's going to be what's giving me my degen damage and stuff. But outside of that, the other node is Rise to Power, and what you need to do for Rise to Power is essentially never knock her down to 2 bars of power, because then she's going to be able to special 2 into your block, of course, and then gain a bajillion bars of power after the special 2 into your block because of her just hitting your block so many times because you cannot dex her special 2. So yeah, we're just gonna hit her block here, and she got 1 fury from the rage, and now I'm just doing a bunch of light attacks, but I knew that degen was enough to kill her. That was a rank 4 ascended Peni, which sometimes people place only rank 3 pennies, so there's a higher chance of rage actually triggering, but that one was rank 4 ascended, so I didn't need to worry as much about it. And yeah, so pretty chill fight there. Now we're gonna go fight out Madelyne Pryor with Wave, and when I tell you this was like the worst fight I've ever had in war when it comes to lag, I'm being 100% serious, and you can just see it in the recording how freaking bad it was. My phone was like, it was a little bit hot when I did this. Well, not a little bit hot, it was very hot when I did this, and I took this fight. I was in the car, and I got out the car, went into like a store, and I was doing this fight in the store because I needed to do my fights as fast as I could because I was waiting on someone to get a pre-fight for me, and like someone was waiting to get past, so I needed to do my fights as fast as possible. But I was in the car before that, and the sun was shining on my phone through the glass, and I guess I like overheated my phone like an insane amount, because then when I started to do this fight on my phone, when I went in the store, it was still very hot, and it caused this to happen. And yeah, I ended up just waiting a while after this. I waited like 15 minutes after I did this fight to do my next fight because it's really freaking bad. But as far as how this fight actually goes, this is Wave versus Madelyne Pryor on this node 17. There's a stun immunity node, and that's annoying because Wave wants to stun and use our heavy attack, so our damage is going to suck a little bit in this fight because we can't ever use a heavy. But it's still not going to be too bad, and considering how annoying the lag was in this fight, it could have been a lot worse. And then, yeah, Wave just is very, very good against this fight because she's never going to get any buffs, so Madelyne is not able to hinder them even if she dropped the special 2, which she also never did. So yeah, can't even load the assets at the end of the fight. It took me like a minute just to load into the fight. I was genuinely concerned that it would actually crash me out, like the app would crash. But then, yeah, after I got out that store, I did this Solvarch fight with my car AC vent blowing on it. And no, I wasn't driving, if someone was wondering that. I do not MCoC and drive. But we're using Vox for this Solvarch. And this is a pretty simple one. I fought Yelena on this node a lot. It's almost always Yelena or Solvarch as far as who the defenders are that are placed on this node, and Vox takes both of them. Vox is even easier against Solvarch than he is for Yelena. And yeah, it's going to be pretty chill. We're just going to go ahead and consume our degens back there, and then our next cycle is going to be pretty ridiculous. He's going to get a lot of regen there, but once we drop our next special 1, it's just going to be too much damage for him to recover from. And I am trying to be a little bit cautious with triggering the regen from here, because I still don't want him to get it, because I can't fully despair it out. So we just have to let the degens do their job at this point. And he let me his block there, so I got that little 2-second or 3-second pause. I don't remember how much it is actually. And then, yeah, there was a lot of overkill in those degens. We did not need to worry about that at all. So yeah, very simple 1-minute fight. And now we have Mr. Knight against Spider-Woman. This is the fight where I had the pre-fight on, so that's kind of why I tried to take my fights when probably should have let my phone cool down a little bit more. And yeah, we did take like 15-minute break, so it did take a little bit longer than I was hoping. But say Mr. Knight for the Spider-Woman. I got the Odin pre-fight, and I just want to counter heavy a bunch to place the panic at first. And I'm waiting for her to... I actually thought I had my panic there, and I was like, oh wait, no I don't. I need to bait another heavy, and then I got it. So then we finally can shut off her evade now, and then the fight's basically under control from here. I just need to be a little bit cautious with, as soon as she gets to 2 bars of power, baiting out the special, because I don't want her using Prey on the Weak to reach 3 bars, because that would be a death sentence. So yeah, we're just going to bait special ones, which we can fail the fumble very easily because Mr. Knight is cracked, and I can go ahead and just bait her special 2 here, and then once she throws it, we're going to go ahead and counter with my lights and stuff, do a bunch of damage on the light attacks, and then we go ahead and pause my full moon phase, which is my guaranteed crits on lights phase, with my special 2, and then go ahead and do my lights there, and then sleep. She's gone. So yeah, that was my only Mr. Knight fight. There weren't any minis that were really good for him. And I didn't actually plan this war either, but if I planned this war up, no, I probably still wouldn't have found another Mr. Knight mini to take, because I don't think there was anything good for him. But we do have 3 Vox fights that were given to me, and this first one actually was not originally mine, and then last second on the plan, we needed to move our Jean player that was going to take this to node 40 instead, to fight the Atuma that was next to this fight. So we needed to find someone to take the Yelena, and it was, I mean, my Vox was like the next best option for the things we already assigned. And yeah, honestly, this fight was a little bit harder than I expected it to be, because she was hitting me very hard into the block, and then the root is going to happen like a couple times in this fight. And what I should have done is push her to special 2 more, because the special 2 has a shorter duration in the animation than her special 1 does. So it's a lot easier to not get rooted on, because you're not stuck in that animation. She just destroyed my block there. That was really annoying. She kept critting into it, and that really hurt. But we're chilling. I'm gonna get rooted again here, but my next degen cycle is gonna just absolutely rip her apart, because we have 26 intensifies. So we're gonna have 26 plus like another 20 degens, probably gonna be around 46. No, it's gonna be more than that when we drop our next special 1. But there we went for the special 2 decks, and like obviously it's a lot more risky if I push her to special 2, because if I mess up the decks, which is a lot harder than the special 1 decks, then I'm getting absolutely cooked. But it also means I'm getting rooted less, and I do trust myself with the special 2 decks pretty significantly. It's just on the off chance I mess it up, or on the off chance game lag screws me over, that would be really bad. But we did push her to special 2 towards the end of the fight, and it ended up paying off. So next up, we're fighting Jean Grey with Vox again on node 44. I don't know what it is with us fighting alliances that aren't placing Despair, but this Jean did not have Despair either, and every time you fight Jean on this node with Vox and they aren't running Despair, it's so much easier than if they were. Because then you're just getting free willpower the entire fight from exhaustions, and then the ruptures, you're not getting, well, you're still getting willpower from the ruptures, but you're still healing a lot from the ruptures being on you because of willpower, and whereas you normally would not be healing pretty much at all if they were running Despair because of the exhaustions that she's placing on you. So yeah, this makes this a lot easier. And I was actually wondering mid-fight like why I was healing so much and why my health was so sustained even with like 3 ruptures on me right here. And then I looked like in the middle of the fight, like, or probably around here, I was like, oh yeah, they're not running Despair, are they? My willpower looks completely normal. So that helped a lot there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and drop my special 1 here, which is going to place 43 degens, which is going to be plenty enough to rip her apart. Because, yeah, this is pretty chill at this point. Hit her block, and we get the pause there. Just managing her controls pretty well, and then we're chilling. And then I kill her through the block right there, and my Vox doesn't need to be healed for the Ruby Thursday fight, which is great. And yeah, that's the next fight, Ruby Thursday on node 46. It's really not a node that's gonna stop Vox from doing Vox things to Ruby, because if you have an Undermine, you basically turn off everything she does. And there's going to be something that goes really wrong here, because I used a PS1 so I could get the Undermine really fast, and then she decided to just intercept me. I don't know how. She literally sidestepped me. That's exactly what happened. And then it pushes me over 2 bars of power. So now I can't get my Undermine, because my special 2 is going to give me the Vigilance instead. So I'm like, oh, great. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that frickin' sidestep. Because now I have to drop my special 2, which is not going to give me the Undermine, which I need to shut her kit off, and I have to pay a lot more attention to stuff that she's doing. And as she continues to get a lot of power over time, that's going to really suck. So here I'm going to hit her block, get her to get away. I don't want to block too much myself because I don't want to trigger... I don't want to trigger that inexorable that much. And then there, I got auto-blocked. I thought I would time it like right as the thing expired, but I was a little early. So that's unfortunate. But here, that I could have gotten parried on. I don't know. I think my finger slipped and I dashed back on accident. But here, I do have the Undermine, and now the fight's over. Because, again, if you have Undermine against Ruby, like, there's nothing she can do to you. It's very, very simple from there. Like, the only thing that's a little bit annoying is she can fail your stun. So I'm just, like, not going to try to parry, because I don't need to try and parry. And do I just catch her with that special 1? That was a late special intercept, and she could have dexed out of that, but luckily she didn't. So yeah, very chill fight. It's just she tried to screw me over that sidestep earlier, which it did not in the long run, because I just need to get another bar of power, or 2 more bars of power to reach that special 1 for the Undermine. So now we're going to go use Wave for this Nico Minoru boss. And I wanted to test this out. Actually, all of my fights were assigned to me with Anti-Venom, and I asked Hurdle, who was planning this war, if I could switch it to Wave, and he was like, yeah, that sounds great, because he loves it when he gives me content assignments, and I definitely consider this a content assignment. Not a stupid one either, because like Wave completely destroys Nico, and you're going to see like this fight's just really easy, because Wave just makes it to where Nico barely does anything to you. But the problem is, like, Wave is a champion who's not very good at long fights, and of course, a war boss is a long fight. That was a bit unfortunate on my end. I did my heavy attack right when the stun immunity turned on, so I did have to deal with that. But, yeah, like, against Nico, if she triggers the buff immunity, like, you don't trigger a dex buff, which is great. So you're not getting poisoned that way. If you do get poisoned, where she tries to put her pentacle buff on you, then you reduce the poison duration by 70%, and then when it expires, you regen. I think my Wave regens about 60% of the damage she took from the poison, so you get even more healing out of it. So yeah, it depends on the Sig level. It's like 70% regen max, but my Wave is not Sig 200. But the main problem with this fight is just, again, Wave is not a very good long fight character. Even the special 3, which is going to help you a little bit for long fights, it's still not very good. Like that Paru Paru passive, it's going to increase the potency of your battered by 25%, and then increase the stack limit of your debilitates and physical vulnerabilities by another 2. But it's just not very great as in general. Like, her damage in short fights is very, very good, and I wish I could have shown that a bit more of the other war fights, but unfortunately we fought a stun immune champion as my only other Wave fight this war. So hopefully I'll take Wave to war again later on this season, and we'll have a lot better fights from her, because yeah, she wants those short war mini boss size health pools, because those are what she's tuned around. And then the boss is still going to go very well though, and that's what makes me like this fight a lot, because it's still going to take like 3.5 minutes, but it's very safe because you have that tracking, so if Nico drops a special 1, who cares? I talked about the poison interaction earlier, and yeah, she just makes this fight very easy. But if you send Anti-Venom, which is what we usually do, then it's like only a 2-minute fight, and it's almost just as safe. I dropped that special 2, and for some reason the batter does not refresh itself whenever you drop another special 2, which is really stupid, honestly. Like, I dropped it when it was right about to expire, and we don't get a new one. I don't understand why that's the case, but whatever. So that probably makes the fight literally add another 30 seconds to it, but whatever. But yeah, like, again, Anti-Venom was who I was going to usually use, and even if it's not my Anti-Venom, we send, like, other people's Anti-Venoms to Nico bosses all the time. And I definitely think Anti-Venom's probably just better than Wave for this, simply because of the fact that you can do this like 1.5 minutes faster than she can. But Wave also just counters Nico's kit better, so it's kind of just like, take your pick. If you just want the speed, like if you're playing in top 10 Alliance War, you're going to care about the speed a lot more, but you might care about the safety a lot more if you're playing lower, which is kind of where we are right now. But still, you could go either way, and I still think Wave is very, very good against Nico. It's just like, it's against a boss node, it's just not going to look as good, because her damage in long fights is just objectively not very good. So we're going to go ahead and kill her here with that special 2, And yeah, like, it was 3.5 minutes, which is granted kind of slower than you'd want it to be, but it was very safe, and that's kind of what matters more in Alliance War than speed, unless you're playing really, really high up. So we did lose this war 11-16. GG's to Lena M. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. I'll probably take Wave to War again later this season, hopefully. We'll just have to see what some of the paths look like and stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one.